Is love enough for a successful marriage? The simple answer is no. There's so many factors that contribute into having a successful marriage. And unlike what we see in Hollywood or Bollywood movies, the two movie stars fall in love and they live happily ever after, we never get to see that happily ever after and how things turn out. So in order for you to have a successful marriage and build a really strong relationship, you need to ask your partner a couple of questions that will set the tone of how your marriage is going to end. Hello everybody, my name is Farah and welcome to my YouTube channel. Here you can find lifestyle videos, personal development videos, and much more. So please don't forget to hit the subscribe button below to subscribe to my channel down below. Marriage is like a seed. When you put the seed in the soil, it needs to be in good soil in order for it to grow. Now you have to nourish that seed throughout the years for it to grow into a successful marriage. But if that seed is not placed in a good environment or a good soil, it will never grow. Same as your marriage. You need to make sure that you have a strong foundation to build your marriage upon. You need to have some common grounds between you and your partner. You need to have the difficult conversations ahead of time in order for you to ensure a successful marriage. Starting with religion, you need to have the conversation ahead of time, whether you and your partner share the same religion or you have different religions. You need to have the conversation of how you're going to raise your kids. What religion are they going to be following? If you and your partner have different religions, then you have to discuss what holidays are you celebrating? How religious are you from a scale of 1 to 10? How would you like your partner to support you in doing your religious obligations? How will you be raising your kids? What religion will they follow? And much more. Even if both of you come from the same religion, it is not enough to ensure a successful marriage. Just a fun fact, these days, even on Muslim dating apps, you have something called a halal haram ratio or a halal meter. What that does is basically measure how religious are you from a scale of 1 to 10 or depending on what scale the app sets in order for you to determine how religious you are and how religious you want your partner to be. Now, just having this feature in these apps shows how important it is that you discuss religion ahead of time. You can be on two opposite poles of the spectrum when it comes to religion and practicing, and that will cause huge issues in the long term. Second up is talking about living arrangements. Now, even if you guys live in the same city or if you live in separate cities, you need to discuss where you will be living after you get married. Now, you may think that this is not very important. However, it causes huge issues in the long run. Some people have joint family settings, so they expect the wife to move in with the husband's family after marriage. Some people like to have their own independency and live separate houses. Some people would prefer living close by to their parents in order for them to get some support and help along the way in their marriage. Some people like to live far away. So before you get married, you need to have a sit down with your partner and make sure that you discuss your living arrangements, talk about their expectations, and make sure that you state your own expectations of what you would like to have in your future for your marriage. Living with your in-laws can cause a lot of problems, and if you are planning to live with your in-laws, you need to make sure that you talk to your partner and communicate what are the boundaries and rules set around you guys living with them, because it can cause a lot of privacy issues and people interfering in your life issues. So make sure to talk about your living arrangements ahead of time. Moving on to number 3, and this is a very uncomfortable topic to talk about, which is financials. You guys need to sit down and talk transparently about your financials. When I first got married, I had student loan and I had a car loan, and I need to make sure that my husband was aware of these things because it would affect our total household income. So make sure you sit down with your partner, talk about not only the loans and debts that you have right now, make sure you talk about your spending habits and your saving habits. Those play a major role in your marriage. Are you a type of person who prefers to save up? Are you a type of person who prefers to spend? Are you someone who lives frugally? Are you someone who likes to enjoy their money? These are all issues that I have seen people around me suffer from a lot, because unluckily, two people who get matched together, who get married, they have never discussed the financial part of their marriage, and they end up having huge issues around two people having two different opinions of how their money should be spent, and none of them is willing to compromise because they are completely opposite. Like, they don't even have the basic common grounds of financial literacy or how they would like to spend their money. I know that talking about money is a very, very sensitive topic to many of us. However, money issues are the second leading cause for divorce. This is why it is so crucial to talk about your money spending and saving habits and all of your debts transparently before you get married. Also, a very, 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 I cannot emphasize enough on how important this tip is, but make sure to discuss your wedding budget ahead of time, because two people can have two different opinions about how a wedding should look like and how much they should be spending on a wedding. Would they rather save up and put a down payment for a house or buy a house, or spend that money on a 1-day, 3-hour party? And that can cause a lot of trouble. So you guys need to make sure that you both are on the same page when it comes to your wedding budget. Trust me on this. Moving on to number 4, which is characteristics. Now, before you ask your partner what are their good qualities and what are their bad qualities that they need to be working on, you have to identify your own, as well as set a list of qualities that are deal breakers in your partner. Now, these are qualities that if that person has them, you cannot live with them. These qualities can be like anger management issues or negative people in general, people who live frugally, people who are rude, people who are insensitive, unkind, and so many more characteristics. You need to make a list of these characteristics that are deal breakers to you. Now, here's the tricky part. Anyone can say, no, I'm not that type of person, or no, I'm the exact opposite. However, actions speak louder than words. So this is where your investigation skills comes into play. You need to be very observant to how your partner acts in certain situations. For example, when you go out to a restaurant, does he order on your behalf or does he let you order? That shows how controlling of a person he is. Is he rude to the waiter or is he nice to the waiter? That shows what kind of character he has. There's so many scenarios that you need to be very, very observant to. Make sure to pay attention during the initial stage of you guys dating to all of these red flags. Do not brush them off as they are not important. Do not justify them in any way. Make sure that you are well aware of them, because these little small characteristics that you tend to ignore during the dating phase will end up being the reason that your marriage is unsuccessful, it will fail, or unfortunately end altogether, which is something that you do not want to happen. Number 5, future dreams, goals, and expectations. I remember I was out on a blind date once that my mom set me up on, and I asked the guy, what are your future plans in the next 5 years? What do you expect out of your life? And he straight out replied to me, am I in an interview right now? And I was just taken back by that answer, because I genuinely want to know where you see yourself in 5 years, and is that going to align with where I see myself in 5 years? It was not in any way an interview question as much as getting to know the person's future goals and plans and dreams. So make sure to ask your partner, what are their future goals? What are their future dreams? What are their expectations? And especially when it comes to household work, raising the kids, are you expected to do that all on your own if you're a woman? Or are they expected to share some of that responsibility with you, as it should be? Are you expected to be the household provider? Is he expected to be the household provider? Also, when do you want to have kids? Do you even want to have kids? How many kids do you want? All of these things play a major role in how your future is going to be headed together. Currently, you may be both on the same boat. However, you need to make sure that in the future, both of you are headed in the same direction into building a future together and not having these problems of him expecting you to be a stay-at-home mom and you wanting to build your career be an obstacle because you didn't talk about it ahead of time. So make sure you list what you expect your life to turn out to be, how he expects his life to turn out to be, and how both your expectations should fit together into having one shared life and moving forward with that life. So just a quick recap, we talked about 5 different topics that you guys need to discuss thoroughly: religion, living arrangements, financials, characteristics, and future expectations and goals. Also, listed in the links below, you will find a blog post that I wrote with detailed questions that you can ask your partner when you're out on dates or just having a casual conversation that will help build your relationship stronger and build that foundation in order for you guys to have a successful marriage. If you like this video, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button below and give it a thumbs up. And I will see you guys in my next video. Have a good day.